Good morning and welcome to this morning's reflection. I'm so glad that you could be with us this morning as we light this candle to remind us of the light of Christ. And I hope that you have tea or coffee as we sit this morning on this rather cold and miserable morning. And we drink together a delicious cup of tea or coffee. So join me in just being still for a moment. So as we go into this morning's meditation, we open the window and turn on some music, and let's just spend time relaxing in God's presence. So let us be still. We begin this morning by reading from Luke chapter 23 and verses 6 to 12. When Pilate heard this, he asked if the man were a Galilean, and finding that he had come under Herod's jurisdiction, he passed him over to Herod, who was also in Jerusalem at the time. Well, Herod was delighted to see Jesus. He had heard about him and had been wanting for a long time to set eyes on him. Moreover, he was hoping to see some miracle worked by him. So he questioned him at some length, but without getting any reply. Meanwhile, the chief priests and the scribes were there, violently pressing their accusations. Then Herod, together with his guards, treated him with contempt and made fun of him. He put on a rich cloak on him and sent him back to Pilate. And though Herod and Pilate had been enemies before, they were reconciled that same day. He made no reply. Jesus is silent, and he is alone. With each episode of his passion, as Jesus moves into his hour, we see him become increasingly more isolated and silent. He stands before Herod utterly without support. His disciples have deserted him. His own people have rejected him. And God is silent. Again, Jesus faces accusations and questions. He is silent. He is innocent. There is no evidence to substantiate any wrongdoing. There is no defense for guiltlessness. To answer the questions of his accusers would be to betray who he is, who his God is, and the significance of this moment. The moment calls for surrender and trust. Anything less than total acceptance would violate the integrity of his life and the absolute primacy of God. Silence is his only response. Jesus is self-assured and composed in the situation. His silence is the strongest rebuke that he can give to Herod. Whatever Pilate's reason for sending Jesus to Herod, whether from fear or to flatter Herod, or simply to rid himself of Jesus, Herod is filled only with curiosity and contempt. Refusing to take Jesus seriously, Herod makes a joke of the incident. Herod is unable to prove or disprove the accusations against Jesus, and after he and his soldiers have had their fun, Herod sends Jesus back to Pilate, robed in a ceremonial cloak. Ironically, the garment is less a statement of mockery and guilt than it is an eloquent sign of Jesus' innocence. Neither Herod nor Pilate can prove that Jesus is guilty, and neither can release him. In the mutuality of their powerlessness, they forge a tenuous bond. The passion of Jesus continues to unfold. Progressively, he is more alone, more silent. As he approaches his final surrender, the silence of Jesus encounters ever more deeply the silence of God. And so we ask for the gift of being able to feel the sorrow with Jesus. To have a sense of his anguish and to experience his tears and deep grief because of all the afflictions he endures for you and for me. Now see Jesus as he is brought before Herod. Imagine in detail the palace room in which they meet. Be aware of how Jesus' dress and demeanor is in sharp contrast to Herod and his surroundings. Look at Herod and note his facial expression as he meets Jesus and proceeds to question him. Take note of the tone of his questions, his anger, curiosity, and malice. See the chief priests and scribes who are present and listen to their violent accusations. Observe Jesus' face as he is subjected to the interrogation and accusations. See Jesus, silent. Enter into the silence of Jesus as into a room of deep quiet and stillness, and allow yourself to surrender to this silence. as far as you are able. Allow the experience of the silence to be given expression through your 5 senses by asking yourself, what color or hue is the mood of Jesus' silence? What is the sound of his silence? What is the scent of his silence? And what does this silence taste like, feel like? Allow the silence of Jesus to fill your whole being. And I'll leave you to speak with Jesus about this time of silence and what it might teach you.